hopefully. I got Andrew Longres, the executive chef from the American in Kansas City, Missouri on. Andrew, thanks for taking some time, brother.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
All right, so I love this. You're outdoors. You told me literally leading up to this, you were chopping down trees. That's amazing. And that sounds like the most fun I could imagine having literally right now is chopping down a tree. So I'm grateful for you taking some time. So talk to us a little bit about Kansas City. Specifically, tell us what's going on at the American with you, your crew, the restaurant itself.
So we are currently closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic that we have right now, but we've been essentially reassigned to different departments and kind of overseeing different divisions on the complex that we work on for the company. We're a part of a bigger company. We're kind of a subsidiary of the Marriott and Hallmark, and kind of a mix of both of them. So we've been tasked with helping out in other areas and maintaining what they need and labor levels and what all the diligence that needs to get done for these complexes to be had. But Kansas City has been ravaged by this in the small business sector and the restaurant sector. We are on maybe our third week of restaurants being forced to close currently. So we have been the mayor of Kansas City came in and said only that to-go orders can be happening, and they all have to be non-contact. So it puts a lot of people out of business. There's been a lot of cooks and entrepreneurs and restaurateurs that have had to shutter their doors and get laid off due to these drastic and crazy times that we're in right now.
For sure. And so were you able to, you said you guys were kind of reassigned. Does that include your entire crew? Is it just your salary team? Like, give us kind of a lay of the land as far as how the entirety of your kitchen staff is doing right now.
We don't have in the kitchen staff. We only have around 4 people, so It's not too terrible that we did. So we kept everybody there. Our front house did take a hit on that. We do have some salary people that stayed on, and we're doing everything from big cleaning projects that needed to get done in the complex, and it takes something to be closed to do, to helping, we're learning how to run big maintenance jobs in water and electrical, which is kind of cool because you don't get to learn that stuff, and how shutting whole rooms in hotels down in big complexes, how that whole thing works. Kind of helping out in different areas. It's pretty fun. It's a different challenge for sure. So, but everything, the occupancy in the hotel is staying open, so we're still considered essential for us. But the hotel is it's operating to the public, but at a very small percentage of occupancy, and lots of airlines are still flying. So all of the airlines stay with us pretty much. So lots of disinfectant, lots of Ecolab's our friend right now. We are definitely keeping everything sanitized and keeping everything on track.
Safe, keeping everyone safe.
Trying to make the best out of it. Trying to make the best out of everything.
I thought was very interesting, and this is something that's so in our DNA in the industry. You said you're just like learning new shit and figuring it out. Like if you guys have to work on new equipment, new projects, you're gonna do that because that's the kind of like get shit done attitude that people in the industry have. And has it been kind of exciting for the team? You're like, all right, let's just figure that out now, since we've had to figure out how to do everything else on our own as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge sometimes when you're not in keen with bigger engineering things and your background's not in engineering or electrical or plumbing. But I mean, as I always tell my cooks, it's not rocket surgery. This is easy stuff. It's got to be. It's just in bigger scales, and you got to be careful what you're doing. So I don't mess with anything like high voltage or anything like that. But when we're moving, like I sent one of my guys, we're attached to a 750 room hotel. So what happens is water needs to be ran. So it's like one of my guys, his whole day was to walk around and run water, and it started at the top and you run all the way down through it. So we're doing whatever we need to. We're also helping them change pipes, big old galvanized pipes, and it's a different challenge, different things. I mean, it's a big enough complex. They make their own electricity for KCP&L there underground. They have a water filtration system underground. So learning huge things, and you walk into these massive maintenance rooms, and you're just like, whoa, I didn't know this was here. This is pretty cool. So
that is it. Man, I really, really love that, because it's just that like never quit attitude, that figure stuff out attitude that I think is so innate in people in the hospitality industry. And the fact that now you're being forced to figure out a way to be productive, still be a team and cohesive, outside the kitchen, I feel like it's going to make you a better kitchen team. I mean, don't you see the opportunity for it to be like you're challenged thinking outside the box? When you come back in the kitchen, you're going to be bigger, better, faster, stronger.
Absolutely. I think it's a good bonding exercise for everybody as well, too, that you are right. We're going to get a little bit closer, other than trying to keep the social distance between us, but it will be a little bit better at the end. So it's a different challenge. We've donated all our food. We are still keeping a little bit of food, but we donated 10,000 pounds of food to local charities. We dropped all that off about 2 weeks ago, and then we're continuously doing like community service and stuff like that. We're right next to a children's hospital, and then another hospital right behind that. So we're trying to feed the nurses and doctors, and we're doing as many donations up there as possible right now.
Yeah, isn't that just, again, something that is so in the DNA of people in hospitality? We're here to serve. And so, we usually do it in a very specific medium. We're creating the menus, and it's our dining experience, all those things that we know very well. Yet the second we're put in an adverse situation, we continue to strive to do that. And so you're going to donate food, you're going to feed people, you're going to make people feel good in this challenging times. And the nonprofit you mentioned, was there one specific nonprofit? I'm super interested to let anybody else in Kansas City know, maybe some places, if they're just still in denial or still don't know what to do, if there's some places that they might look to support and, again, bring hospitality into action, or donate some food that they have going to waste.
So one of our big ones was, it's called Crossroads Community Kitchen. It's ran by the Rieger restaurant. They have put one together since they were forced to close. They did a phenomenal job, and they made a community kitchen, and they've just came out yesterday, I believe, that they said they fed 10,000 people in a span of 2.5 weeks. So that's pretty awesome. It's a small restaurant, small staff, and to do 10,000, that's awesome. Our biggest one that we do, and it's our partner in the company that I work for, is Harvesters. And Harvesters is a huge food bank that goes and gets donatable food, and then it sends it to local food shelters or to kitchens that can help out. So it's kind of the broader spectrum. If you want to touch a lot of people faster, you donate to them so they can branch it out. They have all the distribution, logistics, everything like that. They're super organized. It's crazy. When we went to drop stuff off, it was insane.
That I love hearing that, because having done a lot of work with charity over the years, you can definitely tell the ones that have their shit together and the ones that are just kind of flapping around. And it's nice to know that when you're putting in the effort, you're putting your name behind it, you're putting product or labor into that ecosystem, that it's actually coming out the other end with some immense value. So I appreciate that. All right, Crossroads Community Kitchen, Harvesters. We'll make sure and get that linked up in the comments so people can connect with that. Talk about the conversations you're having with your team, or do you guys have text threads going with any of the front of house, anything like that? How, as a leader, are you kind of trying to continue to communicate with your team, and what are some of those words of encouragement you're giving them as you're just trying to figure it out these days?
We are doing as much as we possibly can and keeping everything. Sorry, I gotta go plug my computer in right now.
I love it. It's beautiful out there, man.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's like 65. Well, not 65. It will be. Hold on one second. Hey, babe, where's the cord? I don't know where the cord. My wife said she was getting the cord.
Yeah, if we get disconnected, we get disconnected, man. It's part of the course. We're just all
Yeah, so it's beautiful outside. It's about 50 so right now, so it's not too bad. And then we have woods behind us. Have some fun. You hear the birds chirping. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, all I hear is my kids downstairs screaming, man, as I'm like cooped away in the upstairs office.
Mine's screaming inside too. It's fine.
Sure. So what are conversations like with some of your team? As like obviously they're looking. We all need some camaraderie and some leadership right now. So what's those conversations like with the team?
I do believe that this is the time, and the time of need, people show their true colors. So trying to make sure that the team is grounded. That hey, we're gonna get through this. It's gonna be all right. We'll figure this out all together. Is the biggest key that I've been pushing to them. We still have to, everybody's got to do their part. And that being said, I think the biggest takeaway is like everybody has a role in society in a time like that. And you have to put your part into it to make sure that the whole team and the whole community comes together and will come out greater at the end of it. So.
I love that. All right. Tell me when you guys get back in the kitchen, I know your chef brain is still working. Every chef I've talked to is already like menu planning in their head because that's just always what they do. What are some of the things you're most excited to cook with your team for your guests when you guys get back in the kitchen? What are those things that just like are tugging at you to be able to cook for people?
All our spring vegetables are coming out right now, or they're going to be coming out when we get back. So that's going to be awesome to really hit those with the ground running and make sure that we can use them for the local ingredients. The biggest thing is we need to use as much local right now more than ever to support our local farms and communities around us. We don't need to be going with bigger things and getting it shipped from California and everywhere in the world. We need to really hammer down and go local farmers as much as possible.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more because they're getting hit pretty hard by this right now too.
Yeah,
they have put a lot of time and effort and money into getting stuff into the ground, and now is when they should be reaping the benefits, and they are sharing as much as possible. Have you stayed in contact with your farmers?
I'm going to say real quick.
No, you're good.
Have I stayed in with? What did you say? I'm sorry.
Have you stayed in touch with some of your farmers, some of your small local guys in Kansas City?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, we're trying to do as much with them. I know they're hit with some hard times and everything like that. So we are definitely trying to stay in contact with them. Hold on one second. I'm going to grab this cord.
Grab the cord, man.
There you go. Everything's got a baby lock in this place.
I remember, I think you talked about it in Debbie Gold's episode, which, for everybody, go on the bestservedpodcast.com or our Facebook page or wherever you get podcasts and get the full episodes. We had Debbie Gold, who was both of our chefs when we were really young. You were like 19, I was like 23. We missed each other. We didn't work together, but I remember the dude who would show up in August with tomatoes, just like in his like Scooby-Doo van with like brown paper bags with like the most beautiful tomatoes. And we just would have that tomato dinner, right? Was in September.
That's what his name was. Dan May, The Organic Way. It was his company.
Dan May, The Organic Way. Dan May, The Organic Way. I'm writing that down. I'm gonna track this guy down and tell him we love his tomatoes, man. Do you know, is he still doing tomatoes? Have you worked with him?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I know that he kind of like dropped off the face of the earth for a little while, then he came back, and then I haven't seen him any since. So we use a lot of with the restaurant. We have to get as much as we can like delivered for local farmers, and there's a couple that'll do that. So we use a lot of the ones that will, because they'll pull up with a truck, and we just go out back and we're like, yeah, we'll take a case of that, a case of that. We'll take all of this. What do you need to move? What's going to go? But right now, let's go. Let's make something out of it.
Yeah, and to your point of
Dan made it organic.
Yeah, not just the support that we're giving to the local farmers, but now it's actually becoming a logistical and practical practice potentially, because you can see how, if you're getting stuff from Chile, that's not happening in a moment like this. And I think there's going to be a lot of things we're thinking about from a business standpoint to like insulate ourselves a little bit from this kind of exposure, because our industry has clearly been exposed. It's like there's a lot of chinks in the way that we can get exposed, and we're seeing that right now. So I'm interested in that. Are you thinking about that even more? Like you have to close your community even more and be more focused on local things, because you're not going to be able to get things from across the country, across the world, potentially, if something like this happens again.
Yeah. I mean, we don't really use a ton of imported fish or those luxury ingredients. We do use truffles and we do use some caviars that are sourced from out, but those things, other than that, you know, the big white Holland asparagus, that's absolutely delicious. But those things we don't really try to stick toward, because we can grow, we're in zone 6, which is what you can grow in California. Our standards or our growing seasons are just smaller. So we can grow everything out there that you can grow anywhere in the world. We have beautiful soil, very fertile. I mean, people think this is a flyover country, but we have a ton of stuff to offer.
Yeah,
and people are very
like, there was always somebody showing up with something. It was the guy who had the fiddlehead ferns and some other random person. I remember distinctly Dan May, the Organic Way tomato guy, but there was always some truck showing up. And I think we're going to need more and more of that. And people on both sides, we're going to have to build menus around it. And we're going to have to get buy-in from our guests to say, this is the food of this region. This is how we're going to have to eat, because we believe in it, but also we need to make sure that we can always feed people in that way. So I really like that. Spring vegetables are coming up. What's your guys' favorite way to treat some of those things? Some of the asparagus, some of the ramps, some of those iconic peas and spring vegetables. What are you excited to get in the kitchen and like cook with your team?
Probably morels. Our season around here, we have blonde and brown morels here, and they will, once it starts raining, it'll be about May, late April, in a couple of weeks. It's got to rain, and then it's got to get extremely hot, get up to like 70, 75, and that's when they just start popping. And you can go to a local park and find them there. You can find them in your backyard. And I have woods in the back that I'll just go and look in there. They kind of steer around trees, so you gotta know. I mean, we have chanterelles, we have hen of the woods, we have all sorts of stuff around here too that are wild. We have wild onions, walking onions, garlic. We have all that stuff here that you can go and forage. Nettles, we have tons of nettles. That's actually one of the few things that everybody just throws away is nettles, because they think they're weeds. They're just prickly weeds. So, but yeah, we have all that stuff here.
And I've heard a lot of people talking about foraging. They're like, I'm doing a lot more foraging. They're finding foraging spots. So I appreciate that. I'm sure that's something for you that you're excited about, the notion of people getting out and foraging. Morels, talk to me. How are you preparing morels? I remember being out in the Midwest for quite a few years, and being from California, morels wasn't really a big thing. But out there, man, like lightly breaded and then just like cast iron butter fried was just like the most amazing thing I'd ever had. How are you preparing morels?
So we actually poach ours. So we'll make bermonte, and then we're going to season it with thyme, garlic, and black pepper. Just let that sit and steep into there. Salt, and then sherry or red wine vinegar. It doesn't really matter. But you need to make it very seasoned. Once that comes up, you clean all your mushrooms, make sure there's no sand. And then there's a faux morel and there's a real morel, so you need to make sure you're not using faux morels. And then what you'll do is you'll poach them. They'll take about 20 minutes at a light simmer. And at that point, drain them off. And then when you saute them back, you can saute them, you can fry them, you do whatever you want to them. But they take on this beautiful texture, beautiful flavor that you've poached with the butter and the salt and the herbs, all infuses into it. It's the best way to eat them. And then you now can take that.
I literally wrote all that down, so you know. As I was looking at my phone, I'm literally like typing that down, because I love that. And you know what? Morels are an interesting thing. They're one of those ingredients that are so personal to people as well. Like every chef I talk to that handles them quite often, or has like a foraging spot, has like the way. This is how you prepare more mushrooms. And I love that, because I think they're all the best. If somebody says this is the way you got to do it, I don't know if they're right, but if they make that for you, it is absolutely the right way to eat it, because it's going to be the best version.
Absolutely.
and the joy that they have comes through.
If they're big enough, I mean, we can get some that are the size of our hand, no problem. If they're left, they grow very quickly. So if you come out there late or something, they could be massive. You could stuff them and bread them if you want. I'm not the biggest fan of frying them, but if it's hot and fast, they're beautiful and delicious with a thin, crisp coat on them. They're really nice.
Oh, unbelievable. Andrew, I appreciate you taking the time. Let's give some people some positivity. I like that we started with things are really tough right now, right? Everyone's kind of struggling a little bit to we're figuring out and we're just adapting to then now talking about food and things we're excited about. Give us some things that you're doing right now besides chopping down trees, which I think is amazing. I love that. What are a couple other things, some playlist items, some things that you might be cooking or watching, reading, revisiting that you can recommend for people so they have something to maybe keep themselves occupied?
So get outside as much as you possibly can. It's beautiful outside. Get outside. We're all kind of cooped up, so we're all trying to break that norm. If you have children, homeschooling or the daycare situation with little ones, it can wane on everybody. So that being said, take a walk, find some woods. If the parks are open, as in like some open or larger parks that'll be like nature sanctuary stuff might be open, take a walk. I mean, nature's amazing. I'm fortunate enough to have woods behind me, so we like to do a lot of outdoor things, go play in the yard. We have chickens, so my little one loves to play with our chickens. We love to have those fun times to get outside, get some fresh air. I know the playgrounds and stuff would be closed, or they are around here at this time, but they're not. We're still allowed to go for walks. We're still allowed to go outside and walk our dog and have fun. So I would say that.
I like it. Urbanites now are super jealous of you and your woods in the backyard. I can tell you that for sure. The boys ride their scooters out in the parking lot in the back. It's not quite as gorgeous, but some sun on your face yesterday, especially. It was about 65 degrees here in Denver, and it was special. It was just like the energy. You can feel the energy when you feel the sun on your face for sure. So, Andrew, let's stay in contact about what's happening with you guys. I love the attitude. I love the leadership that you're showing out there. We're going to come back bigger, better, faster, stronger. And I will be out to have some morels in Vermonte with black pepper, thyme, and sherry vinegar. I'm all about it, man. I appreciate it, man. Get back out there and chop down some more trees. Have a great day.
You too. Take care.
Cheers. Yeah, I want some woods behind my house. Man, that's sounds awesome. Andrew is doing a great job out at the American. They're pivoting quickly left and right because I talked to him a week and a half ago and they were still going full bore in the kitchen. And then a couple days later, just like that, it's shut down. And the fact that they're pivoting within the company, I think is really great, that they're going to adapt, that the company is allowing them the opportunity to adapt. So I just like that kind of thinking. And man, am I excited for morel mushrooms now? Like, that's the thing. When somebody has a thing, I can just see it in his face when he's talking about morel mushrooms, how good that dish is going to be. It's what I love most about cooking, but even more about eating. I think, Bourdain talks about cooking is about control, and I'm paraphrasing, but dining or eating is about surrendering. It's something along those lines, and I totally hacked that to pieces. I apologize, but I like the sentiment a lot. So tomorrow's episode, Monday, tune back in on Monday. We're going to be talking with Drew Deckman. We're going to try this a second time because technology has not been kind to us every single day. We've had some challenges, but we're going to continue on and try to have these conversations. So Drew Deckman's going to be on for a second time. He's the chef owner of Deckman's and El Magor in Valle de Guadalupe in Baja, Mexico. So we're going to talk a little bit. We had a great conversation the other day. Unfortunately, it did not go live. So we're going to try that again, as well as having Heather Lynn Spidell on. She is a bookkeeper. She has Satchel and Rose, which is a bookkeeping company in Loveland, Colorado. And we're going to talk a little bit and unpack some of what's happening with SBA loans, with PPP, with disaster grants, and give people hopefully some practical information and try and dispel some of a lot of the contradictory stuff that we've heard out there. And you can tune in all next week. We're going to have 2 episodes most days. So we're going to be on at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, and then again on at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. And we're going to have people from accountants, restaurant-specific accountants. We're going to have somebody from the Department of Labor on. We're going to have somebody who's an SBA specialist for a bank. So we're going to try and get people understanding what's happening from unemployment and from the CARE Act and PPP, SBA, all these acronyms that I don't barely understand myself. So I'm just going to talk to them because hopefully they know what's going on. So appreciate you guys as always for watching, for listening, for allowing me the opportunity to do what I do and communicate. And in these times, communication means like this, talking with you, trying to share as much information, ideas, insights, inspirations as I possibly can. Now, on a very personal note, for anybody who knows me and is connected with me on Facebook, I am going to move over in about 5 minutes or so to my personal page, to Jensen Cummings' Facebook page. So tune in there because finally last night, the COVID-19 coronavirus has hit really close to home. I was contacted by somebody very much in my inner circle that is positive, and we're going to talk a little bit about what happened there and how I'm feeling about that, and actually what they asked of me to support them in this moment. So I'm going to talk about that. So migrate over to my personal page if you're interested in hearing about that. And like I said, give me 5, 6, 7 minutes to gather myself, and I will be on there talking about what we're always talking about, COVID-19, yet the power of humans to overcome, to adapt, to evolve, and to stay positive is fucking inspiring to me. So I'm going to keep up with it. I will see you guys later. Appreciate you as always. Cheers. Go chop down a tree like Andrew.